Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Hello, you probably just heard the last second of my countdown. How's it going, everybody? Jesse Montano, Meghan Angley. It's 11:45 here. Well, 11:43. I lied just a little bit. Here in Dallas, I had to put the hat on because the humidity has officially gotten to my hair. In the same way, the Avs got to Jake Ottinger tonight. Meghan, 5-1. The Avs take game one. Meghan, we were at lunch today, and we were asked, what do you guys think? What prediction do you have for tonight? And I said, I don't know. I've had a feeling since we got to morning skate. I said, I think the Avs are going to smoke them. The game was closer than 5-1, but the final score is the final score. The Avs end up pulling away. It was a really fun game, Meghan. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotional swings, but overall, I thought that was one of the best Avs games we've seen in a while. How are you holding up? This has been a long day for us, and what'd you think of that one?
I put a product in my hair to combat the humidity, and it's working less and less the longer we're here, so I'm a little discouraged. But it was a great game because despite what the score might tell you, it was really tight for a good portion of it. And so the Avs had to battle, and they couldn't stray from their process. They out-hit this Dallas team. It's a physical game in ways that I don't know they'll get credit for. And it's an ugly one that opens up the scoring for them. Yep. And from there, they start to put it on Dallas and run away with it when it's all said and done. But it was a tight playoff-style hockey game, and so it was exciting to watch. You know, even going down in the third period to start prepping for post-game availability, there were nerves because they take a timeout, they get this power play opportunity, Dallas gets a goal, and they bring it back within striking distance. But the Avs don't play with their food, and they bring it on home. And so I really love the response from the team. I love how they start. I love in the moments that maybe they recognize they were a little bit flat, they met it with energy. And it was just such a mature response from the Avs. I'm really encouraged because they do this all on the road in a loud building. I don't know if I'll use the word hostile, but it was loud. And I loved the moments you could feel the silence in the crowd, especially on strong PKs for the Avs, stifling opportunities off a dangerous Dallas power play earlier in the game. You could feel the crowd grow quiet, and it was really awesome.
Well, so you used the word maturity, and I think that's the part that I want to get into off the top before we kind of start breaking this down a little bit. Talk a little bit about that PK. Talk about Mackenzie Blackwood. Talk about Artturi Lehkonen. Talk about Nathan MacKinnon. There is a good amount to unpack from this game, but Meghan, you and I obviously we talk throughout the entire game, and I made the comment to you after that first. I said that felt like that was two teams needing to get a lot of energy out. They were really ramped up, excited for the playoffs, and I said I want to see them settle down a little bit here and kind of find their game. And during that second intermission, you and I were remarking on the fact that it felt like the Avs played kind of within themselves, in control of themselves, didn't start running around, and that was when I felt like they really started to just press and take it to Dallas a little bit more, gain control of the game. And then that was where the physicality went from them just running around hitting anything to physical play, taking guys off pucks, winning battles along the wall, laying heavy hits that were meaningful. Marty Netchis, tags a guy in the corner. Logan O'Connor absolutely drops a guy in the neutral zone.
Wyatt Johnston.
It was Wyatt Johnston. And it just, I felt like when they got some of that excited energy out of their system, which I thought both teams needed to, I felt like the Avs got to their game quicker than the Dallas Stars did. Yeah,
because I'll use the word sloppy, but it just felt like neither team had the attention to detail that they would have liked coming out of period one. And I felt the Avs had a slight edge in terms of possession, and they had a slight edge in the shots battle, but there was still a lot of work to be done. And in the second period, Dallas made a stronger push. That's where Mackenzie Blackwood had to come up with a series of saves, and I think that not only kept the Avs in this game, but his compete inspired a little bit of an energy boost from the Avs.
The first goal of the game came right off of a massive series of saves.
4.
From Mackenzie Blackwood. And, you and I were kind of laughing that it even felt like when the Avs started going up ice and led by Nathan MacKinnon, obviously it happens really quick. There was no way all this was going through the head, but you and I were almost saying, like, that almost seemed like they were like, okay, we can't waste that. We got to go get one at the other end. Like there was like some intention and guys playing off of that compete. Let's talk about that first goal. It's Artturi Lehkonen, his first goal since March 10th. We asked Jared Bednar earlier this week, hey, it's been a while since Artturi Lehkonen's found the back of the net. He's not producing the way we've normally seen. Do you have any concerns? And he said, well, one, no, he's getting chances. In the last week of the season, last 2 weeks of the season, he was getting a lot of chances. But he said, we're not worried about it. Artturi Lehkonen scores big goals. This is his time of year coming up. And Jared Bednar said, wasn't worried at all, and that was exactly what they got here tonight.
Charlie Coyle talked about it too, how maybe in execution that's not how you draw it up, but everything in the process leading up to it is exactly how the Avs can open the scoring where it was otherwise difficult for them to create. I think you look at the first power play opportunity they get, they're overpassing, and Dallas's PK is aggressive and it's blocking shot and passing lanes, and Avs are trying to create time and space and just running into obstacles and not doing very much. And I thought it's because they overcomplicated things. Here, it's pretty simple what they do right. So you get a series of saves from Blackwood in your own end, and then some pressure from MacKinnon and Makar. Oscar Beck has the puck in the Avs zone. That pressure from MacKinnon and Makar allowed them to force the puck off of the Dallas player. Net just picks it up and sets MacKinnon up in transition. That's how this play gets started. It's, I won't say like winning a battle, but it is forcing a player to make mistakes in your own end because you applied pressure. And I think that's the Avalanche way. Like, you have to be willing to do these things because you look at even the power play goal that Nathan MacKinnon follows it up with. And it's another one that's maybe not exactly how you draw it up, but you win a battle in the corner to get that play set up on the cycle. And I think it's no coincidence that the Avs are rewarded with a goal because they do the blue-collar things.
Yeah.
And I look at even Lehkonen's goal, it's a little bit fluky, but the initial shot isn't an accident.
No.
And that requires Ottinger to make the initial save, and it's the rebound that obviously leads to kind of the chaos that ensues.
Right.
And, going back to ahead of the 4 huge saves from Blackwood, EJ completely wipes out on the other end of the ice. Parker Kelly gets cross-checked in the head. This was a chaotic sequence of events that lead up to this goal, and the Avs stayed the course, and they kind of settled things down by returning to the Avs' identity, because everything before that, honestly, there was no identity. That was just weird hockey happening for a few seconds there. But they settled it down, and then from there, it opened the game back up, and they took it in their grasp, and they never let it go.
And let me give Artturi Lehkonen maybe a little bit more credit that I don't know if it's necessarily deserving, but also, like you said, that first shot isn't an accident. Credit to Artturi Lehkonen. Follows the puck to the net. He gets tangled up, and like you said, it ends up being a fluky goal. I'm by no means trying to say Lehkonen did any part of that on purpose, but you get rewarded for doing the small little things right,
Yeah.
We do have a clip of Jared Bednar talking about Artturi Lehkonen right off the top of his post game. Let's roll that.
You can close that. Go ahead. Questions for head coach Jared Bednar. Jesse?
Coach, you told us, I think it was earlier this week, that you weren't worried about Artturi Lehkonen because he scores big goals. He gets you guys going here today?
Yeah, he does. He's such a big game player and competitive player. Like I said, if he wasn't getting any scoring chances, and then that's a different story. But he's been racking up scoring chances on a nightly basis, and it's a matter of time for him, and seems to come through in big moments all the time, and tonight was no different to get that first one.
Comes through in the big moments for this Avs team, and it almost does even feel a little bit like what you were talking about with the identity of they're back to their identity. Artturi Lehkonen's picking up big goals in the playoffs.
Yeah, in a span of seconds, too.
Yeah.
And I think Jared Bednar always talks about 5 minutes at a time inside games, and it did feel like there were maybe some resets required in this game at point. It wasn't at points. It wasn't a perfect game from start to finish, but I think coming out of the second period, they really settled into their own style of hockey, and that's where I think things became difficult for Dallas. This is an Avs team that they can play the way that you challenge them to play. But if they can assert their will, they're going to. And I think that's what they did tonight.
No, I'm with you, and we're going to talk about Mackenzie Blackwood, but I want to talk about asserting your will. There was a lot of conversation around Nathan MacKinnon these last couple weeks. Is he maybe dealing with a little something? Not that he was looking bad, but just maybe not that same dominant force that we've come to expect. Megan, I thought he was dominant tonight at times. I thought maybe a little bit of overpassing in the first for the Avs as a whole, and Nathan MacKinnon wasn't exempt from that. But to me, I felt like Nathan MacKinnon's presence was felt in this game every time he was on the ice. He's drawing penalties, he's scoring goals, setting up others, and I just really felt Nathan MacKinnon was in the driver's seat of this game tonight.
Yeah, especially when Dallas sort of gained an edge in the shots battle inside the second period. You look at the shots totals on an individual basis, and Nathan MacKinnon had the team lead and finished the night with one. And that's unsurprising. That's sort of Nate McKinnon's MO. But it wasn't just that he was shooting. It is the power play and winning the battle in the corner to keep that play alive on the cycle and ultimately set up, kind of a weird goal from the circle in the end. But it stayed with commitment start to finish, and I saw it at both ends of the ice. And I think that people underestimate that aspect of MacKinnon's game, the two-way side of it, and it comes alive in the playoffs. And it's big because after the first period, we were kind of talking about players that were visible to us, players that weren't. Nathan MacKinnon was visible to me coming out of the first, and he was, kind of on a short list of guys that there needed to be some more names in that list. And as the night went on, more were added to it. But MacKinnon and that entire fourth line, Drury, OC, Kelly, those are the names that were sticking out to me after one period of play. And again, it's no coincidence that you look at the analytics, you look at the impact of these players in each line, and Nathan MacKinnon individually had a huge impact on this game, and that fourth line did too.
Nathan MacKinnon certainly was not the only one doing this. I thought the Avs really supported Mackenzie Blackwood in front of the net with cleaning up rebounds and really just helping with a lot of that traffic in front in general. But that was an area that Nathan MacKinnon stuck out to me. And the reason it stuck out to me is because that's not normally, Nathan MacKinnon clearing traffic out from in front of his own net. Not usually on your Nathan MacKinnon great things that he did tonight bingo card, but multiple times I noticed him getting back, getting in front of the net, winning battles, and getting pucks up and out, and one eventually does lead to that goal. Let's talk about Mackenzie Blackwood here, Megan. Let's let Jared Bednar kick it off here. We did talk to Jared Bednar about Mackenzie Blackwood. Let's get his thoughts, and then we can kind of add to what he says, because I actually think Jared Bednar puts it rather well.
You guys had a big goal. There was a save from Blackwood at the other end. Just what did you think of his game overall, and especially in those clutch moments?
Thought he was outstanding. Yeah, I did, because I thought we were doing a really good job 5-on-5 on the defensive side of it. Certainly we have some things we can clean up, but I think their power play and the way they attack the net and get around the net, it gets super dangerous. We had a couple failed clears on our penalty kill that led to some chances against, and I mean they're grade A chances. And we're trying to do the right things net front, but, bouncing pucks, lots of bodies there, and they came up with a few of them and put them on net, and Blackie was huge. So he allows us to keep the game at 0-0. And we had our chances too, and Ottinger did the same thing. But that was a big first playoff game for him, no question.
He was outstanding. I agree with him. There was high danger chances in tight. There were rebound opportunities that I still don't know how he was able to find pucks through traffic. The only one that beats him is a deflection from Rupe Hintz that also takes a second bounce off the ice and goes in. Credit to both goalies. Really nothing super clean beat either one of them tonight. This might have been Mackenzie Blackwood's best game we've seen since he got to Denver, and that's saying something.
Yeah, I think there was significant improvement in his rebound control. I also think the Avs provided much better support in that right, but Jared Bednar's right in calling out the penalty minutes. DeBoer also called it out in his post game. Dallas 8 minutes on the PK, Colorado 6, and they get 10 shots on net, 7 high danger chances inside the power play opportunity. And so maybe Dallas didn't pose the same 5v5 threat as Colorado did, but they certainly did on the man advantage. And I didn't even think the PK was bad. I thought there were moments that Nichushkin had a good read and a good stick from Parker Kelly. But even with some of the best penalty killers on the ice, it's just a really good Dallas power play. And so Mackenzie Blackwood was the last line of defense, and he stepped up in a huge way. And I never felt that he was at risk of being beat clean, and I also thought he was seeing those second, third attempts at the net better. And honestly, I think it stopped at second attempts. I didn't even feel like it got to the third attempts, and that is a testament to him covering rebounds and getting a little bit more support at the net front.
Well, and there's something I want to touch on here because we were talking about it right before we went live, and we talked about it earlier today in our pregame. That we just said Mackenzie Blackwood's got a different intensity to him. He's got a little bit of a different vibe to him right now around the rink. And we were saying, I don't know if it's just he's intense, if he's nervous, what it is. I thought it was really interesting. After the game, he told us all, I've waited a long time to play in the playoffs. Tonight was amazing. Kind of lived up to what he wanted. I think he's dialed in right now, Megan. Seeing him after the game, interacting before we got a chance to talk to him, interacting with his teammates, interacting with other folks from the team, the way he talked with us, I think this is just a guy that's super dialed in now after seeing it all play out here tonight. Do you feel the same way, or are you still a little up in the air with like what we were talking about before the game?
No, I feel it's intensity like we talked about before the game, and it's the most goalie thing to see him in this form because the level of care that he approaches his compete in the regular season is high. And so I think to some people that might even meet playoff caliber care. And so this is a new level of care for Mackenzie Blackwood because his standard is already so high. And so I think that's why it's different to us as observers because it is a different energy around him.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a good thing that the guy who usually cares a lot somehow cares even more right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, and it feels like it just kind of fits into because we were even listing off like Nathan McKinnon gets different this time of year, Cale Makar gets a little bit different this time of year, Jared Bednar definitely does, and it feels like Mackenzie Blackwood kind of fits right in with that. I want to talk to you about the speed and the pace of this game. We talked today saying, look, this Dallas team is deep. They got a lot of talent. They can roll 4 lines, even without Jason Robertson up front. But we did also mention, hey, look, if the Avs can get to their game and they can get going up and down, they can play with some speed, Dallas might have a hard time keeping up with that. I did feel like at times tonight, Dallas did have a little bit of a hard time keeping with the pace. Did you see it the same way? And if you didn't, what do you think was kind of the separator between these two teams tonight?
You know, it was tight for a lot of this game, so I want to give Dallas credit that
Absolutely.
I don't think the path through Dallas is easy, even though they take game one. And where I see, though, that the Avs challenge them in a big way is in transition.
Yeah.
I look at even the Coyle goal, and they win at center ice, and they just get inside the zone and win the puck back more quickly.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the passing play from Drury to Coyle getting to the net front unfolds so quickly that there really wasn't any containing it, and they capitalized on speed to make that play possible. I love, one, that at that point, the game is pretty decided. They don't need to be doing all that, but I like it. It's competitive, and it's good for their confidence, and it's probably one of the cleanest goals all night, because you're right, Andre didn't get beat easily, and so I like that that's just a pure good hockey goal to kind of cap things off in this game. And so the other thing that the Avs did too is slow Dallas down through center ice. Blue line to blue line, I think they gapped up on guys that it made their blue line difficult to enter. And so Dallas did spend some time in Colorado's end, and they made them pay when they did with some of those high danger chances. But you look at the puck possession numbers, and it does tell the full story that the Avs did just try to eliminate spending time in their own end as much as possible by defending well through the neutral zone. And I think that slowed Dallas down because Dallas would like to thrive in transition as well. And the Avs had a really good solution for that.
I'm so glad you brought this up because this is where I wanted to go next. You were the one who brought it up, I believe 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. Megan, I don't know. We've been up for so long.
We don't stop talking.
I don't know when we talked about what I'm about to say. At some point in our history knowing each other in the last 2 weeks, we talked about, you brought up the transition game and how Dallas is going to want to try to get on the transition, come to the neutral zone with speed. And then we also talked about the fact that the Avs are going to need to be able to play fast off the transition to try to get through what can be a suffocating defensive system that the Stars have not only are capable of deploying, but have deployed against the Avs in years and games past. One, I looked at you at one point, I said, the Avs are winning this transition game right now. It felt like every time they were getting the puck, it was up ice and it was going north. The other thing that I thought, not only did the Avs make it difficult to gain entry at their blue line, I actually thought they made life really hard on Dallas at Dallas's blue line, leading to the Stars having to chip the puck out and really just kind of giving it right back to the Avs because they were playing so strong in the neutral zone. The Avs were able to transition that right back into offense. To me, it felt a little bit like the Avs beat the Stars at their own game a little bit through the neutral zone.
Yeah, and I think it was great coverage and calculated entries, because I would watch a player like Netchis who can gain entry using speed kind of go for the chip and play because they have the speed to go and collect that puck collectively. And so they leaned on each other a lot. And I thought Netchis, his game in particular, was one that I didn't love at the start, but came to appreciate a lot more by its finish. And I think that he really absorbed a lot of the messaging about what he needs to do to be an effective player in the playoffs. And that's why I think he had a more physical game as the night went on, and it helped his line.
Mm-hmm. Netchis, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask just what you thought of him overall. I thought he was, this is going to maybe sound silly, I thought he was going a little bit too fast in the first period. I thought he needed to, kind of take a beat. There was a couple times where I felt like he almost like outraced, where the pucks were coming from, and he needed to just take a deep breath, relax, and settle into your game a bit. And I thought he did that.
He protected the puck better.
He did. Nathan McKinnon, I thought, was a story of this game, but you do get contributions from all over the lineup. Charlie Coyle, yes, they don't technically count anymore because it's regular season versus playoffs, but he does push his point streak to 7 games. I just really thought that this was as good of a game one as you could have asked for out of the Avs. They had to play tight. This wasn't just a runaway where you could kind of have fun in the back half of the game. You had to play smart. You had to play disciplined. You had to kill penalties. You kind of fumbled away a 5-on-3 in the first period, but you end up making up for it with a power play goal later. You get contributions from Josh Manson, Devon Taves. It's really hard for me to find a lot of stuff in this game that I'm going to nitpick. You know what I mean?
I can't believe we glossed over the Devon Taves goal / the feed from Manson / how this play unfolds.
Beautiful.
They know where this is going starting in their own end. I have it on my computer right now. And this is another in which the Avs beat Dallas in the transition game. And it deserves a little bit of praise because this is why the puck skill of Manson shouldn't be understated. Yes, he's the physical player who adds a little bit of sandpaper to the back end, and that was extremely important because you look decor by decor. I do think that is what also hurt Dallas a little bit tonight, though I thought Thomas Harley had a great game for Dallas. I was concerned about his lack of experience compared to the experience that is in the veteran group that is the Avs.
Played
decor.
A lot of minutes.
Yeah, played a lot of minutes, stood up for himself, stood up for his teammates, was really impressed by Thomas Harley. Sorry, this wasn't a Thomas Harley podcast, but
played well.
Looking at Manson's impact on this play specifically is why he is important to this team, why he's in this game. Not that it was ever a question, but to have a player that has the physicality that Manson does, as well as the puck skill to make that play possible, as well as a smart teammate in Devon Taves to anticipate this, it's why the Avs back end is like having an extra forward on the ice at times.
Not only the anticipation, not only the pass, great play from Josh Manson, kind of pulling all eyes towards him, making it look like he's going to walk into this great lane and rip a shot, and then just rips a pass right under Devon Taves' stick. We see Devon Taves do this. It's not just because, it's not like having an extra forward just because they're out there and they've got good puck skills. They go to the net. We see Devon Taves trying to tip pucks in front, finding rebounds all the time, and this is exactly what it is. It just makes the Avs so difficult to defend, especially when they're coming up the ice with speed. It's hard to track who's your guy. Who do you got? Because that's 7 in white going to the net. Who's picking up him? That's maybe not an assignment that's being called out.
And this is where I don't want to undersell the threat that Dallas still poses in this series. Because you look at the impact cards, and some of their top players didn't have the impact they'd like to have. And I think that is not going to stay true throughout the course of this series. I think that Wyatt Johnston's going to have a bigger impact in this series than we saw tonight. And so it's a threat on the ice at any given moment that they shouldn't underestimate. Similarly, Matt Duchene, Mikko Rantanen. I did not think this was the playoff debut revenge game that Mikko Rantanen would have hoped for. And so Dallas is going to have a say in game 2. And I think that there's a lot of learning lessons for them to take away from this. And I don't know if I said it live on here, don't play with your food, but it is important for the Avs to stay the course because everything that they did tonight rewarded them for a reason. There really isn't a lot that they need to do differently. They just need to be committed to it, and it's going to be a bit of a grind because it required a lot of physicality and a commitment to their checking game to get the result that they did tonight, and it was lines 1 through 4. That's why I keep shouting out that fourth line. They were fantastic tonight.
They were. Oh, dang it. You said something there that I really liked that I wanted to talk about.
Was it Wyatt Johnston, Mikko Rantanen?
Nope, it was after that. Oh, I got it. I got there. We talked about killer instinct yesterday. And this is where I think the Avs are going to be able to lean on some of what they've gone through over the last couple of weeks, where it was maybe hard to get up for games emotionally because you were playing teams that were more desperate than you. You were locked into your spot. The Avs knew that they were coming to this building for game 1 for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you played against a lot of teams who were trying to just get into the playoffs. Game 2 here on Monday, look, it's the playoffs. Everyone's desperate every game. That's what makes playoff hockey so special. But now the pressure is on Dallas. You had home ice. You have to, if you're the Stars, you're sitting there saying, we have to defend home ice at least once. The Avs took home ice advantage back tonight by winning this first game. Dallas is going to play with a lot of desperation, trying to get a win before they go out on the road. And the Avs are going to have that killer instinct, and they're going to have to maybe weather a storm early on. They're maybe going to have to come from behind in that game at some point. But if they follow the same process they did tonight, play within themselves, play in control, I think you are going to put yourself in a situation where you could end up with a similar result to what you got tonight. But there is going to be a lot of desperation from that Dallas club. That killer instinct from the Avs is going to have to shine through.
Yeah, I thought Ottinger was good, too, all things considered, and he can be a tough goaltender for them to solve, at least in the series last year. So they need to stay present in this series. I think they should feel confident with how Game 1 went, but also stay the course and stay present in this series.
Well, and then the other part of this, too, we talked about no Sam Alinsky, Eric Johnson playing his place, Gabe Landeskog doesn't go tonight. Well, now you've got a 1-0 series lead, and now you can get have a little bit of fun with your lineup, and now it's, things that are going to be difficult for the Stars to match, and you're not having to do it out of all right, well, can we get a jolt? Can we mix up the lineup to get a win?
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat after game 1, and you can you can give Pete DeBoer some matchup headaches. Let's round things out. We got a few super chats from our guy,
Vaguely.
Blackwood's better. Big night for Blackwood. I know we did talk about him, but there was a lot of people coming in tonight saying, should it be Scott Wedgwood? This is nothing against Scott Wedgwood. You know how highly we think of him. Mackenzie Blackwood sent a statement tonight.
Yes, I think the statement, too, includes, what did you mean? No playoff experience. You guys, we've been awake since 2 a.m. yesterday. I just need you to know that right now.
We are coming up. Mark's coming up on 24 hours here. We got to get out of here at some point.
Anyways, no playoff experience, Mackenzie Blackwood. The haters were worried. The real ones weren't. He silenced a lot of people tonight.
He was outstanding tonight. This is the one that made me laugh when I saw it come up. Doesn't Dallas have green super chat lights too? They do. Absolutely. One kept hitting me in the face all warm-ups long. I'm just seeing a little green dot in my eye still. It might be from sleep deprivation, or it might be from the green strobe lights that were hitting me in the eye. I'm not fully sure. But no AI aliens this year, Megan, so we all came out winners tonight. And then last one here from Vaguely Sober. For Taylor McCarr's first pro hockey goal, Megan, last topic we're talking about, take us to the finish line. Taylor McCarr gets his first pro goal.
I'm scared because I tweeted about it and someone said, there's another game going on. Hello? I have room in my heart for all of it, okay? If DU hockey was somehow still playing right now, I'd also be watching that. Anyways, Taylor McCarr gets his first pro goal. What I love is it is not always easy for college players to make the leap and get that production at the college level to translate at the pro level. Taylor McCarr also earning more games in the final stretch for the Eagles than I anticipated he would. And it is a classic Taylor McCarr goal. He uses his speed to receive a tip-in pass and chip the puck in. Great pass, too, from Connor Kelly, one of the new college players that they brought in from Providence, I believe.
Yes.
So just a college connection there, and I love to see it. Great goal. Taylor McCarr's first, and presumably not his last. He's fitting quite well at the American League level.
You know what my favorite part of it was?
It's Taylor McCarr. What?
That. No Selly. Nah, been there, done that. I score goals all the time. No big deal for me. I'm Taylor McCarr. That's all I do. That was my favorite part.
They were down 2 goals, and it only brought them within 1. So I think he was like,
yeah, I love that even more. Yeah. Megan, you just made me love it even more.
Yes.
It's like,
selfless.
Cool. Right. Like,
egoless.
I'd rather win.
First goal, don't care.
Don't
Want to
care.
win.
We're losing. Yep, don't care. Not even cool.
The
All
energy's getting weirder.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, we have to go. Oh, we have 2 more super chats. Oh, my gosh.
Get some coffee.
God,
Thank you,
for Keaton.
Keaton.
All right, I'm so glad Keaton's in here. I wanted to give a shout out to Keaton. Keaton came and saw us. We were gearing up to do our pregame live. Keaton stopped by to say hello, so I wanted to give a shout out to Keaton. Big thanks for stopping by. Big thanks for the super chat here tonight. We'll see you on Monday.
Heck yeah, Keaton.
Heck yeah, Keaton. And the last one here from Bobby Ballantyne. 1 down, 15 to go. Avs looked steady and businesslike.
Okay, I do want to address that because we've seen them come off the ice pretty exuberant in a playoff setting, and they came off the ice like there was positivity,
Yeah.
But it was very businesslike. They were not overzealous whatsoever. It did feel very businesslike.
Yeah, they're here to do a job. We are here to do a job as well, and we need to get some sleep in order to do that. We're going to take that $10 from Keaton there and put it to good use in the morning, making sure we're all wide awake. We will be back here tomorrow. The Avs are going to get on the ice, or at least some of them. I imagine it'll eventually be an optional at 2 o'clock. So we'll have some footage from you guys from practice. We'll have availability. But we're probably all going to sleep until about 1 p.m. So we're going to go, but great game 1, a really entertaining game 1, just no matter what.
Yeah,
result
very
aside,
entertaining.
it was a really entertaining game 1. And the Avs do come out with the win. So Avs are up 1-0 in the series after a convincing 5-1 win here in game 1. We'll be back at it tomorrow and then game 2 on Tuesday, and we're just getting started here. We are just getting started. Long road ahead, but good start for the Avs, and we'll be back with everything tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. Seriously,
Love you guys.
We're talking about being tired and being out here, but we don't get to do any of this if not for you guys. We have one of the best jobs in the world, and it's because of you guys. So big thanks to you. Big thanks to both of you guys as well here in the room with me, Megan, Mark. You guys make my life easier every day, and I have a ton of fun doing this with you guys, and I'm really excited for this run here. So. Let's get out of here. Everyone go to bed. Everyone get some sleep, rest up. So we got a ton more content coming your way tomorrow. She's Megan. I'm Jesse. Mark behind the glass. Sure, why not? Have a great night, everybody. Get some sleep.
Bye.